situations where we've got to go smaller with Trey and Ty as our two biggest guys on the floor, and then Isaiah and whomever else in that backcourt. Some of that may come up, Nick, but right now our plan would be to have either Luke or Justin on the floor.
How's Isaiah Brown looked recently? And part of the reason I ask is the boost he was able to give you guys this past Wednesday night. It sure seems like when he's providing things on both ends of the floor, it really just lifts the rest of the team.
Yeah, he was terrific at Bradley. Without going back through all of them in my mind, that may have been the best overall game he's played, since he's been here. And he did it again to start the second half. He made some really good plays to start the second half against Southern on Saturday. So I just feel like he's turned the corner or flipped the switch or whatever you want to put on it. That happened for him, and it was something that he had to make a decision that he was going to go out and make some plays because I've told him he's a really good basketball player, and we were at the point where he needed to decide that he was going to go out and have an impact on the game and not wait for the game to continue to come his way, that he was going to go out and make plays at both ends, and he did that last week for us. And I think he's turned that corner. I expect that we will see that again on Tuesday.
Offensively, both the Brandon and Illinois game kind of slow starts, a lot of threes early. What do you think it's going to take to get some shots to fall, early in this game?
Yeah, I mean going back through both of those, Nick, I tell you, the possessions were good possessions. That's the in some ways the hard or tricky part, and in other ways not. We've got the right guys shooting them, and we've got a lot of guys that can make them. We've got on this team, we've got a bunch of these guys are in here all the time. They're in here shooting shots. And we had a couple guys in here Sunday morning on their own, on what was a day off for us. There's guys in here again this morning before we practiced at 10. So they're doing all the right things, and they can really, we got guys that can really shoot the basketball. If we were having possessions that weren't good possessions, and we were having to take shots where we're dribbling around trying to get a shot off, early in the game, we've had some very good possessions, and most of those shots have been catch and shoot type shots, and they've been by the guys and we've got a lot of them, so multiple guys that we're comfortable with taking those shots early in the basketball game. There's been second half, against Southern, against Bradley we were pretty good, but against Southern that last 8 to 10 minutes, things got slowed down a little bit, and so there's some areas in the game where we've got to continue to move, and with the basketball we've got to have guys that are continuing to move and do some things. But in terms of the way we started and the possessions that we're having and the shots that we're getting, Nick, they're really good for this team. They're really good for this team.
What have you seen out of Illinois State defensively in their two conference games? They're only giving up 52 points in their first two. They were giving up 74, almost 75 in their non-conference games. What did they do different?
Yeah, I don't know that they've done a whole lot different. Now, Chastain is playing 30 minutes a game in the two conference games. He wasn't playing as much in the non-conference games, and it looks like they like him in that lineup from a defensive standpoint, from a rebounding standpoint. He does a good job of moving the basketball for him, so that may be part of it, Garrett. And they've got good, Evans is a really good on-ball defender and a really good defender, period. And then after that, they've got good size. With Copeland, Chastain, Yarborough, Fain, those guys are 6'4" to 6'8", and can move and really cover ground. So it's a very good defensive team. And this may be a little bit of a switch in terms of how much Chastain is playing and what he brings to him in terms of, defensively. He's on the floor. He's taking charges. He's rebounding the basketball. So that may be part of it.
The second conference